The question of access to the sea has long been a source of tension between Ethiopia and Eritrea. At the heart of the debate lies the Assab port, a vital coastal gateway that has fueled political disagreements for decades. In 1991, following the fall of the Derg regime, the Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front, or EPRDF, led Ethiopia through a period of transition. As Eritrea secured de facto independence, Ethiopia became a landlocked nation, losing its coastline, including the strategic Assab port. Many argue that allowing Eritrea to claim Assab was one of the greatest mistakes made by the EPRDF. Historically, the region was closely tied to Ethiopia, particularly the Afar people who have lived along the Red Sea coast for centuries. For Ethiopians, losing this crucial port meant losing a direct link to global trade routes. Today, Ethiopia, a nation of over 130 million people, faces economic challenges due to its lack of direct sea access. Compared to neighboring countries, with port access, Ethiopia pays nearly 3 times more for imports and exports. This reality places an enormous strain on the economy and increases the cost of living for ordinary Ethiopians. The lack of port access affects every aspect of life. In Ethiopia, imported goods, from fuel to basic food items, arrive at much higher costs due to extended transportation routes. Consumers pay inflated prices for essential goods, which has contributed to rising inflation and economic hardship. Businesses struggle to remain competitive as logistical expenses eat into profits, and small enterprises are particularly vulnerable. Market vendor. Every year, prices go up. We cannot control the costs because everything comes through Djibouti. Transport is expensive, and these costs are passed on to the people. Consumer. Basic items like cooking oil and sugar are too expensive. It is hard for the average family to afford necessities. We need better access to ports to lower these costs. Without its own port, Ethiopia relies heavily on Djibouti, paying substantial fees to transport goods. This dependency raises concerns about national sovereignty and long-term economic sustainability. Ethiopia pays billions annually to Djibouti in port fees, funds that could otherwise be used to develop infrastructure and improve living standards. For many Ethiopians, this issue transcends politics. It is a matter of survival. Access to the sea is not just an economic necessity. It is a national demand. No matter how long it takes, there is a growing consensus that Ethiopia will regain access to the sea by any means necessary. This sentiment is deeply rooted in the belief that a country of Ethiopia's size and historical significance cannot remain landlocked indefinitely. Interestingly, while Eritrea has been reluctant to lease or share Assab with Ethiopia, reports suggest the Eritrean government is open to allowing foreign powers, including Saudi Arabia, to invest in the port. This decision has sparked frustration among Ethiopians, who argue that a nation of Ethiopia's size cannot afford to remain landlocked, while other countries benefit from regional infrastructure. The Ethiopian public, across political and ethnic divides, increasingly views sea access as a non-negotiable right. For them, the future of Ethiopia as a prosperous and independent nation is directly tied to regaining coastal access. Many believe that it is only a matter of time before Ethiopia reclaims its rightful position along the Red Sea. Geopolitically, the Red Sea is one of the world's most strategic maritime corridors. Access to Assab is not just about trade. It also impacts Ethiopia's ability to project power and secure its interests in the Horn of Africa. A united and strong Ethiopia raises concerns for Eritrea, as control over Assab is seen as a critical buffer against its larger neighbor. As the region grows more interconnected and global powers show increased interest, the stakes continue to rise. Ethiopia's growing population and expanding economy amplify the urgency for a permanent solution. Some analysts argue that without access to the sea, Ethiopia's long-term stability and development will remain vulnerable to external pressures. Without direct access to a port, Ethiopia faces structural disadvantages in global trade. This limits foreign investment and raises the cost of doing business, which directly impacts economic growth. Policy expert. Ethiopia's economic ambitions cannot be fully realized without independent access to the sea. The current reliance on Djibouti is unsustainable in the long term. The future of Assab remains uncertain. Can Ethiopia and Eritrea find a cooperative path forward, or will this port remain a symbol of unresolved tensions between the two nations? One thing is clear. For Ethiopia, the quest for access to the sea is not just an economic issue. It is a matter of survival. And for many Ethiopians, achieving that goal is not a question of if, but when. The issue of sea access is a unifying concern for Ethiopians, despite their internal political differences. While Ethiopians may disagree on various political and social matters, the desire for a pathway to the sea remains a shared national interest across different groups. Even those who oppose the current Ethiopian government acknowledge, in private discussions, the strategic and economic importance of securing access to the sea. This consensus stems from Ethiopia's status as a landlocked country since Eritrea's independence in 1993. Access to a seaport is seen as crucial for economic growth, reducing dependence on neighboring countries for trade and enhancing national sovereignty. The topic resonates deeply across political lines, reflecting a broader understanding that maritime access is vital for Ethiopia's long-term development and regional influence. Such unity on the issue highlights how certain national interests transcend political divides, reinforcing the idea that some goals, like access to the sea, are seen as essential to the country's future, regardless of who holds political power. Africa's challenges can be addressed through regional cooperation, unity, and fair economic policies. When African nations lease their valuable assets to external powers but overlook or reject collaboration with their neighbors, they weaken the potential for shared growth and development. Stronger regional partnerships can create lasting economic benefits for all. For instance, if Ethiopia's economy grows, it can indirectly boost Eritrea's economy through increased trade, improved infrastructure, and cross-border investments. Better transportation networks, energy projects, and market access can stimulate economic activity on both sides, leading to shared prosperity. By prioritizing collaboration over competition, African countries can break down barriers and foster a sense of unity. This approach would not only enhance regional stability, but also allow African nations to harness their collective resources for the benefit of all, reducing reliance on external powers while strengthening the continent's position in the global economy. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth analyses on the Horn of Africa and beyond.